Well, today I'm going to work on making a bookshelf, but the first thing I have to do is plane all these boards down because I cut them on my sawmill, so I got to get them flat, and then I'll take them to the joiner over there, get the edges good before I start ripping them. Going for 3/4 of an inch. Right now I'm at 7/8 of an inch, so I've only got another 1/8 of an inch to take off. So we've got 2 turns on the planer. Well, it is right exactly at 3/4 of an inch. So these will be the boards that I use. Now I got to cut boards to the length of the shelves for the bookshelf. Uh, I'll cut them heavy. That way, whenever I joint the edge, square it up to the surface, then I can square the ends up to the size that I need. Well, now I'm going to run them on the edger to get one side to square up to the table saw whenever I go to rip them. And I had to check to make sure I was joining the right edge because I'll be ripping it like this and taking off material. Well, I wanted to make sure this edge that just did miss getting planed was the piece I was cutting off. Well, now I'll get the saw set up to rip those boards down. And these will be all the shelves for this bookshelf. Well, now I need to rip the width of the box that will be the base of this bookshelf. Now I need to mark 6 of these for a dado cut. And I don't want to put my dado blade on, so I'm just going to use the regular saw blade and just cut it a few times and then clean it out with a chisel. So I'm just making a mark on the board so I know where to cut, and then I'll make several cuts in there break it out, clean it out with a chisel. So whenever you get done, you'll end up with this. See how it's got all those little bitty grooves and stuff in it? Well, I got a 3/4 inch chisel. I'll just run it through there, try to clean it up. Which, I mean, I didn't do too bad. It got all the hide marks out. I got a few spots in there where the chisel dug in a little bit, but glue's gonna fill that. Well, now it's time to start putting these together. Now my boys know how much I absolutely hate bringing this table out because it ends up being a catch-all. But you can see it here. Okay, throw that down a bit. These pieces will go on here like that. That way when we set it up on this base, it's sitting good. Well, it's been roughly 6 hours for this glue to dry. So I think now is going to be the time to attach it to the base. Overshot my angle on a nail, so now I have to cut it out. I'll put a little wood putty in there because I dove the cutters down into the wood and cut it so it'd be below where it's going to hit. And as far as putting this on, I'm just eyeballing about where everything's going to line up. I'm looking at it. You know, I'm not really going to measure it. You know, I might find here where I'm about where I'm at. Yeah, I can stick a straight edge on it. And it looks like it's almost even with the back of the front there. And then I'm over here, so I can actually take it a little closer. That looks like that's going to be pretty close to where I want it. So I'll just put a mark where I want it at. So I can pull that away and I can add glue. And then I can stand it up. And now you can kind of see how it'll be for books, where you can lay your books in here like this and stack books up. I had to go to the back of the garage to find some of my books so you can see how You can stick your books in here. And you can just stack your books in there however you want. You know, you got a place where you could stack a few books right here, or you could place them in here and then stack them here. And I mean, you can probably get a good, close to 30 books like this size here, all stacked up on this. So it is really kind of cool. But now comes the time to sand it. I'm probably not going to bore you with that, so I'll probably sand it all, then we'll come back whenever I get ready to put the finish on. Well, here I'm mixing up a little bit of wood putty to put in that spot where I ran a nail through. The only bad thing is it don't take much water for this stuff. I can already tell I'm already too wet. That was just a little bit of water. So you sprinkle in a little bit more dry until you get it to the consistency that you want. And that's about where I want it at. Just a little doughy. Had to mix up 10 times as much as what I actually really need, but put it on and they'll hide in the black. I just got a little bit left to sand, so you can watch